Knicks fans very excited to see their new team in action, and the Italian fans so excited to see Danilo Gallinari back playing in front of his hometown fans. And let's now welcome in for the first time Tina Savasio. Hey, Tina.
Ciao, Mike and Clyde. And as Danilo Gallinari addressed the crowd here, I was with an Italian journalist, Adriana Galimberti. She helped me with the translation. And Danilo said to the fans here in Milano, I want to thank all the fans for everything you did for me from the bottom of my heart. I had 2 wonderful years here. Thank you, Corba. Those are the hardcore fans. This is a special night for everybody. Let's enjoy the game. We hope to give you a great show. Mike, Clyde.
Even the Italian referee kissed him before the game.
Yeah,
Clyde.
A lot of love for Gallo tonight. I think he's going to have a big game, Mike. And he's very composed, folks, considering all the hoopla around him.
Well, I would assume he feels a little bit of pressure wanting to perform well in front of this crowd. Meanwhile, the team just wants to get used to playing with each other. Stoudemire, his first dunk as a Knick.
And that's the tenacity that he's going to bring to this team, especially in the paint.
And Clyde, we've been talking the last couple of days while we're watching the team work out and practice. Stoudemire, we know his talent and his explosiveness, but his leadership qualities are something the Knicks have lacked for a long time.
Oh.
Nice move inside. Stefano Mancinelli, the 27-year-old veteran.
Mancinelli utilizing the left hand over Stoudemire.
Well, we've seen Clyde Stoudemire right away take that leadership mantle.
Yep, he's first to practice, last to leave. A tenacious work ethic he brings to the game.
Gallinari misses his first attempt.
You see, he was a little tight on that, Mike, as you alluded to.
So I think there's no question he feels a little bit, even for a preseason game. Nice move inside, and the bucket. Jonas Maciulis, a Lithuanian native, who is a nice pickup for this Milano team.
Maciulis driving adroitly and strongly that time along the baseline. Get those sneakers squealing out there. There's a steal.
Chandler lost it. Nice pass back inside. Maciulis.
Whoa, that was contact. No foul.
Stoudemire did go straight up. Did a good job of not breaking the plane. Gallinari again. 0 for 2 to start. Ball knocked loose. Nearly saved. Stoudemire gets it. Gathers himself. And he's fouled by Abraham Jobber. So Stoudemire will shoot a couple of free throws.
Surprising opening to the game. Armani thriving in the paint. Also coming up with a steal, but good D by Stoudemire to deny him. And this time Stoudemire able to draw the foul, so he's at the line.
Well, Amari Stoudemire signing a 5-year free agent deal worth just under $100 million. He has embraced the leadership role. He's embraced being in New York. He's been spotted all over the city prior to coming to Milan. And it's been a long time, certainly since Mike D'Antoni in his 2 years here, but a long time since Knicks fans have seen a star player like this on their roster.
Yeah, Stoudemire's nickname is Stat. S-T-A-T, standing tall and talented. So that time missing the free throw. Good transition D by the Knicks. Armani will have it underneath.
Well, the Knicks will have the 2 preseason games here in this NBA Europe Live tonight here in Italy, and then they'll play the Minnesota Timberwolves in Paris on Wednesday. Little jump hook is good. Marius Petrovicius, also from Lithuania.
Posting and toasting that time, Petrovicius. And now almost a steal again. The Knicks telegraphing their passes as they retain it.
Clyde, when you have this many new players on your team, as you see the replay, a nice little jump hook. When you have this many new players, how long does it take before you really get a feel out on the court?
I would think, Mike, at least 5 to 10 games.
Gallinari knocks down that three-pointer, and the roar from the crowd.
Remember, the Knicks only started practicing September the 25th. So very little time before coming here.
Nice pass that time from Raymond Felton, a traveling call. Mancinelli. And Felton, we talk so much about him as the point guard taking over. Last year, of course, Chris Duhon started most of the year. Tony Douglas did as well. And this is one position the Knicks really feel they got an upgrade. He signed a 2-year deal, and he's a two-way player. An excellent defensive player as well, something the Knicks really need. Chandler knocks down a three-pointer.
Chandler, the leading scorer, returning on this Knicks team, scored 15 a game last season.
He's been bothered by a sore left calf during preseason, and he had surgery on his ankle in the offseason, so he's just getting back into rhythm. Machulis does not hit, and Stoudemire the rebound.
Look at Stoudemire showing versatility. Coughs it up.
A little too much. Knicks a little sloppy with the ball earlier. Petrovicius didn't see where the ball was, and the Knicks will get it back.
A little international folly that time. Stoudemire in disarray, and then the errant pass. So the Knicks have it in the backcourt.
No, you'll see some sloppiness at both ends. First preseason game for the Knicks, and it's also a preseason game for Olimpia Milano. Gallinari tried to get it. Yet another turnover. Stoudemire gets it back. And then throws it away again.
And that's the chemistry we talked about when you have so many new players. Now you see the errant passes by the Knicks.
Clyde, just from seeing the way the team's assembled, some of the strengths we mentioned, there's some leadership now at Stoudemire. They have depth and they have versatility, able to play both big lineups and small lineups. Good defense from Turiaf. What do you like? What are some of the strengths that you like from this team? And
I think the defense, Mike, that Turiaf brings, Randolph, will also Pelton, and of course Stoudemire. So I think they should be much improved on the D, which they needed, because last season the worst field goal percentage in the league, the Knicks were allowing 48%.
And that man, Raymond Felton, the coaching staff have talked about how as the first line of defense, he has been a huge plus.
Felton can score. He can get into the paint.
Stoudemire on the drive, draws the foul on Mancinelli. They're going to call it before the shot. Probably in the NBA that would be a continuation. In fact, the official just apologized to Mike D'Antoni.
Are these NBA rules? What are the rules tonight?
Most of the rules tonight are NBA. There are a couple of exceptions. One of them is the FIBA rule, the World Basketball rule, where as soon as the shot hits the rim, anybody can touch it, so you can knock it off the rim once it hits it. So there's no goaltending and no offensive interference once it hits the rim. Turiaf throws it away. Mancinelli gets down, stripped. Gallinari and Stoudemire both getting back on defense. 2-on-1, and Turiaf called for travel.
Very blatant travel by Turiaf. Thinking rather than reacting, so the turnovers continue for the Knicks.
They are playing 4 12-minute quarters like the NBA because it is a preseason game for the Knicks. Jobber, former college player in the United States. And out of bounds was Machulis.
So both teams discombobulated now. The Knicks will bring it up.
Stoudemire gets it. A little too much dribbling. Mancinelli down the other end. Well, the crowd cheering for Gallinari and obviously for Mike D'Antoni, but they don't want the Knicks to win. They're very loyal to their Italian team.
Mancinelli doing a good job creating havoc now on the D.
And Milano, one of the top professional teams in Italy, is Turiaf. Count it, and a foul. Nice pass inside. And Turiaf with a chance for a three-point play.
Turiaf redeeming himself after his previous blunder. Was traveling in transition. This time would not be denied. So running to the line for one.
Roni Turiaf acquired in the sign and trade for David Lee, Kalina Azubuike, and Anthony Randolph, the other two. And Turiaf getting the starting center job. It's his 6th year in the league. Played for the Lakers and for Golden State.
He speaks 5 languages, Mike. We've got to hang out with him.
He's been the translator, and 2 of the languages are Italian and French. He's from the island of Martinique, so he speaks fluent French.
And he grew up in Paris since the age of 15, so he's looking forward to that return.
Entry pass, good double team. Hawkins gets inside, and he's fouled. David Hawkins, a former player at Temple University. He'll go to the line for two.
See the omnipotence of Hawkins. And watch Hawkins go on baseline, hanging and banging right there. So Terry off the culprit. Hawkins to shoot two.
Hawkins was born in Washington, D.C., played at Temple from 2000 to 04. He's played in Italy ever since. He's had a fine career. He's the highest paid player on this team.
What are the salaries here, Mike?
You know, I don't know, Clyde. They're not as high as the NBA. That I'm certain of.
And the dollar is not big here against the euro. So he's losing money, actually. Some of the countries I would think he would benefit, but not here.
Again, this is the home court for this Milano team. And this one sold out when it was announced that Gallinari and D'Antoni were coming back. It took 2 hours for them to sell out. There's a report that there's about 80,000 requests for seats. Oh, Stoudemire! A little fancy inside.
Much to the delight of the crowd. Ooh, and an eye in that time with his prowess.
Long three-pointer. The three-point line is the same as the NBA for this game. Gallinari, extra pass to Chandler. Chandler, nice move, up and under. And there's the ball movement. Mike D'Antoni and the team have been working on so much so far in practice.
And we talk about the athleticism, the versatility of this Knicks team. Previously, you saw Stoudemire.
Back with you in Milan all week. The NBA had a fan zone set up at Piazza Duomo. It's one of the most famous sites here in Milan, with, of course, the largest Gothic cathedral in the world. And there you see a basketball court set up right in the ancient city. And Chris Mullin on hand from St. John's, a great legend and NBA exec. Of course, the Knicks, including Danilo Gallinari. The fans were sometimes 20 deep to see Gallinari, the kids chanting his name. A great event. So much interest in the NBA by all of the local Italians, Mike and Clyde.
Another year, Tina, of NBA Europe Live. And Gallinari, he's had all kinds of appearances that he's had to do since he landed. In fact, he landed and went right to an appearance. And he wants to give back. He wants to come back and spend time with the fans in addition to family. But it's time for him to get ready to work, Clyde. And this is a very important season for Gallinari. And now with a presence like Amari Stoudemire, he might be ready for a breakout season.
Yeah, I think so. He's shown that he's hungry. He wants to improve, especially on his defense, his ability to get to the basket. Averaged 15 points, 5 assists. I'm sorry, 5 rebounds, only 1 assist. So obviously must improve with his dishing.
You know, Gallinari, just 22 years old, coming off an excellent season last year individually. Roger Mason Jr., another free agent pickup. He's at the 2 right now. Foul call on Anthony Randolph, the other big acquired from Golden State. So Mike D'Antoni going to his bench.
You don't want to create that type of foul. The guy's not looking to score. If a man is not a threat, don't foul. Not a good foul by Randolph.
There's the 21-year-old Randolph. A reminder, don't miss the Knicks open practice on Sunday, October 10th at Madison Square Garden. Doors will open at 11. Tickets are free but are required. To get tickets, visit nyknicks.com. Knicks open practice at the Garden on Sunday, October 10th. Nice look inside and an easy bucket.
Yeah,
Petrovic.
Good dish by Hawkins.
So the Knicks lead is 5 with just under 5.5. Raymond Felton already with 3 assists, and he's one of the few Knicks without a turnover. He is fired up, Clyde, to be in New York. A chance to be the starting point guard on an up-and-coming team.
I think like Stoudemire, he's accepted that challenge.
And right on cue, he throws his first turnover. Masula shot blocked. And the foul won't go. Randolph got a piece, contested that time. And that's going to be something the Knicks hope they see more of, from shot blocking. You mentioned Randolph, Clyde, and Turiaf both have that ability. Stoudemire's averaged over a block a game in his career.
Stoudemire surrounded.
And Stoudemire fouled.
See right there in the NBA, there's goaltending, but not here.
That should be goaltending in fever rules either, but still good athletic move from Randolph. Stoudemire will shoot a couple more. Mike D'Antoni trying to figure out how to use everybody. And a guy like Randolph, a perfect example, Clyde. He can play some center. He can play some power forward as well. Defensively, they say he can guard all 5. Coaching staff very high on him, as is Donnie Walsh. Again, Randolph just 21 years old. Stoudemire knocks down the second. And substitution. Marco Mordente will check in. Mordente, a long-time player in Italy, in his 15th pro season, played with Gallinari.
See how these guys still look young. They start early here, folks. Sometimes as young as 14 to 15.
Yeah, he's been playing since he was 16 years old, pro ball.
Good swarming Knick defense now.
Stoudemire pokes it away. Petrovicius way off. Randolph, good contesting of the shot. Gallinari kicks it out to Mason. You see 3 players around Stoudemire giving up an open look.
Randolph passed it up.
Stoudemire, the jump shot.
You like the continuity now by Milano.
Hawkins in and out, and Randolph lost it. Randolph's the type, he can get the rebound and lead the break the other way. For a guy his size, he's got tremendous athleticism and good skill level. And you see the coach, Piero Bucchi, in his 3rd year, was talking to some of the Italian people before. He's on the hot seat, Clyde. He's got to have a good year.
Yeah, he had a smattering of boos and cheers when they introduced him.
Meanwhile, you see, ready to come into the game, one of the more interesting new players for the Knicks, Timofey Moskov, the rookie from Russia. Gallinari gets inside, counting, and a foul. Nice entry pass. And a chance for a 3-point play for Gallinari.
Stoudemire watched the diagonal cut and the hang time by Gallo as he goes to the line. Good dish by Stoudemire.
So more substitutions come in. There's Moskov. And again, he was fine, signed a 3-year deal with the Knicks. He's only 24 years old, 7'1" from Russia. He's played pro ball in Russia for the past 6 years, but kind of a late bloomer. And the Knicks scouting department saw him. Donnie Walsh loved him. And they think he's got a chance to be really good, Clyde. I mean, it's going to take him a while to get used to the NBA game, but he's got real athleticism for a guy 7'1".
Yeah, agile and mobile is what they allude to when they talk about him. Obviously needs experience.
Good harassment by Douglas. Randolph went for the steal. And Petrov knocks it in. Alexei Petrov, who had some time with the Wizards and Timberwolves, playing back in Europe again. Gallinari, long range, rattles in the 3. And Gallinari fighting after missing the first couple of shots. It's knocked down back-to-back 3s.
Only Aaron Brooks was better than Gallinari from downtown last season.
Brooks, the NBA's most improved player, #1 in 3-point makes. Gallinari, #2, shot blocked. Moskov with his first block as a Knick.
Crowd still ooh and ahhing on that play.
And that's the other player we talk about when think about shot blocking and defense, Clyde. Moskov shot is good. No, off the mark, and that's the rule that they're playing FIBA rules. It was above the cylinder, but Petrov is allowed to knock it away. In the NBA, that would have been goaltending. Mike D'Antoni has some good feelings about this 24-year-old rookie, Clyde.
Yep, Moskov, 7'1". Showing it right here, the tallest Knick. Very inhospitable against penetrating.
Really has been a wonderful return. He can't walk 2 feet without people all over him, although I guess the camera crew kept the people away from him there. But he has visited friends. As we said, he's made all these appearances, as has D'Antoni. And with more, let's go to Tina.
time that Danilo spoke, Mike, in all of those appearances, he would finish with a line, a tutto motore, and it's been his motto now for the last year. It means going full speed or full throttle, full steam ahead. He started saying it last year when he became healthy after his back surgery, and it's just his message right now to Knicks fans. A tutto motore, I'm going full speed. Mike?
Well, maybe the best number from Gallinari last year, Clyde, was how many games he played. He played 81 of the 82 games after all the back problems, the back surgery Tina mentioned, as Roger Mason shot in and out. Randolph grabs the rebound. Tony Douglas misfires, and Randolph with a foul coming in over the top.
The thing I like, Mike, is his maturation. You see how poised and composed he is now, speaking English, expressing himself, and we're starting to see that on the court as well.
He's running much better. He always had kind of an unusual gait after the surgery, but now you can tell he's gotten it back as Petrov knocks it down. But Gallinari is running fluidly and smoothly.
The difference is the game is from downtown. So Milano yet to can a three-pointer, and the Knicks have 3.
Lineup out there for the Knicks now. Tony Douglas, Roger Mason, Billy Walker just in with Mozgov and Anthony Randolph. One of the strengths for the Knicks will be depth. Randolph showed, knocked away by Mancinelli. Petrov, the big guy, can shoot, and of course throws up an air ball at that particular time. Randolph been working on his shot. That's not really his game.
2 air balls in succession that time.
He's mad at himself down the other end. Randolph has a world of potential. Terrific young skilled player, but he has a lot of work to do to be a consistently good player. Hawkins inside, another block. Mozgov and Randolph both there.
Yeah, Randolph with the rejection.
Mason kicks it out. Again, excellent ball movement, and Tony Douglas off the mark that time.
Oh, Hawkins releasing, no one saw him.
And Hawkins able to get the layup. Final minute here of the first. Randolph, that's a little more his game.
Yeah, he's been offensive minded, but to no avail.
It'll be tough for big men to guard
Hawkins,
because of his dribbling ability. Nice feed inside and a flip up layup. Nice. Hawkins with a pretty pass, and Mason Roca able to put it in.
Previously, Hawkins releasing uncontested, that time dancing and prancing on the perimeter and finding an open man inside.
So a timeout call. Mike D'Antoni didn't like that defense as they got beat in. You see Mike D'Antoni, the staff intact. Herb Williams, Phil Weber, his brother Dan D'Antoni, Kenny Atkinson. All set as the Knicks continue to work. A reminder, don't miss the Knicks home opener versus the Portland Trailblazers on Saturday, October 30th. All fans in attendance will receive a Knicks giveaway courtesy of Chase. For ticket, visit nyknicks.com. Knicks open the regular season in Toronto on Wednesday the 27th, then play in Boston on the 29th. And then that first game at Madison Square Garden with the new team on Saturday, October 30th against the Portland Trailblazers. All right, Clyde, what do you see so far? Give me your thoughts.
Well, we saw sloppy play early on, which we expected from both teams. Then they started to settle down and play good basketball. Hawkins has been very impressive. Very strong dude going to the basket. Also very unselfish, looking for the open man as he did previously on their last possession.
Well, we mentioned that the strengths that Mike D'Antoni's team has coming in. And again, the depth of the team, the versatility, the athleticism. They can play big or small. They have some leadership. Some of the weaknesses that they have to work on and have started already. Obviously, the defense is number one. And outside shooting. They need some consistent outside shooting.
Yeah, that's why Mason was acquired. He's normally a good perimeter shooter, especially from downtown, so they're counting on him. So now Mason and Douglas are manning the backcourt.
And the other right now, something that needs work is the unfamiliarity of the players with each other, trying to get a feel for each other.
Randolph shooting every time he gets it.
Randolph spin, gets fouled, and puts it in. And that's where he's at his best. So tough with his quickness for guys his size, as Rocco couldn't stay with him.
Watch the gyrating inside and the continuation after the foul. So you like to see Randolph do more of that at 6'10" rather than launching up the threes. Because of his ability to manipulate like that inside, you like to see him posting up more.
Well, Randolph played 1 year college ball at LSU and then was a rookie with the Warriors, was the youngest player in the NBA and had sporadic time. Then last year he only played in 33 games because of injuries, a badly sprained left ankle. So he's still learning the game. And a reach-in foul there. Call on Randolph. See Randolph playing at the top of the zone. You got a guy with that kind of length.
And now the Knicks will pay for their transgressions. And they're in the penalty.
So Chandler's going to come back in as Randolph picks up his second. Randolph was a high draft pick, the 14th overall pick in 2008. That was the same year that Gallinari was selected. In fact, Donnie Walsh talked about that they had Randolph in for two different workouts. They were thinking of picking him, but he was only 175 pounds, and they were a little concerned with that as the first quarter winds down. Douglas just gets it off in time, off the mark, and that will end the first quarter. So the new Knick team getting their feet wet. Amari Stoudemire.
Tina Servazio back with you in Milan, Italy. Now, well known, of course, that head coach Mike D'Antoni had an illustrious career here in Italy playing for Olimpia Milano. Lived here nearly 20 years, 13 seasons as a player, and there he is as a young player in the 70s, eventually becoming a head coach, and his coaching career lasting 8 years in Milan and Treviso. Enjoy some of these photos because this is the time that Coach D'Antoni became a legendary player in these parts. His career granted him the opportunity to be named 50 of the most influential personalities in European club basketball. A wonderful homecoming for Coach D'Antoni, and you are going to meet some of his former teammates, coaches, players, you name it, coming up at halftime. Now, Mike and Clyde, dietro de ti, that means back to you.
All right, Tina, one of his nicknames when he was here was the mustache, although he had more than a mustache back then. Had that little Grizzly Adams look going. Nice flip up inside, Mancinelli.
Mancinelli has been very impressive, not only on the offense, but his defense. Always looking to come up with steals.
Douglas inside, and Muskoff is fouled.
That's the agility we alluded to with Muskoff. Rising that time with the finger roll. Watching baseline. Oh, spins out, but he's at the line for two.
So Muskoff, again, 7'1", 250. The coaching staff says that he's very good big man instincts. Again, he's athletic, he's active. And he showed that, played in the World Championships in Istanbul in Turkey. The Russian national team. Even Lamar Odom, who guarded him quite a bit, was very complimentary of Muskoff afterwards.
You can see on his free throws, he has a nice touch. Good rotation on the ball.
It's going to be a work in progress, but there is a lot to work with there.
Yep. Will the thrill with the rebound.
Chandler, another offensive rebound. Knicks have not shot it well here in the early going. Muskoff trying to get position.
Milano plays good D, though. That time again, they create the foul.
Good hard drive from Chandler. So 2 shots, and Chandler will go to the line. Rocca picks up the foul.
Talk about Chandler last season with the 15 points, 5 rebounds, almost 1 block shot. So I think with a good year, Mike, he could become a 20-point scorer.
You know, it was an interesting number, Clyde, about him. Howard Beck of the New York Times in an article the other day had, with this current Knick team, Chandler has now had in his brief career. This is only his 4th year in the league. He's had 41 teammates already, not counting guys with 10-day contracts. And he came back to camp this year. He's like, I don't know anybody. One of only 5 guys returning from last year's team. Gallinari, Douglas, Eddie Curry, who's not in Italy, and Billy Walker. Flip shot won't go. Roca's fouled on the foul. Chandler hit him there. And free throws for Milano.
Milano having success on the interior. And they have not made perimeter shots, so the Knicks should be denying their forays into the paint. But right now they're capitalizing as they go to the line to shoot.
Mason Roca, another veteran, 32-year-old. Talked to some of the Italian sports people before the game, and they said he's too small, he can't shoot, he can't jump, but he has the biggest heart of any player in Italy. This is on the second, out of bounds. Nick Ball. Opening minute here, second quarter from Milan. The building known as the Forum. The Knicks preseason opener. In fact, the NBA's preseason opener. Moskov blocked, but a foul. Petrov thought he got it clean. And Moskov will go back to the line.
So watch the continuity this time by the Knicks. Moskov previously in a similar scenario with the finger roll, missed it. So again, he goes to the line. Made the first, missed the second previously.
He will get a chance to play a lot of minutes as he hits the first. Wednesday afternoon on MSG. Catch more preseason action live from Paris as the Knicks will take on the Minnesota Timberwolves. Live coverage gets underway at 2 p.m. That's Wednesday on MSG. And the Knicks will fly back after the game and then have a full slate of preseason games back in the States. None in Elmira, as you said, Clyde.
Elmira, Utica, we used to play all up there for the Knicks fans back in the day.
Marco Mordente, and a popular player here.
That's what Douglas has to do. Keep his dribble, keep your dribble.
Chandler on the drive. And Moskov showing the touch.
Unselfish play by Will to find him along the baseline.
Petrov likes the outside and nails the three-pointer with Chandler hand in his face.
He's showing good range, as Petrov.
Knicks lead just 1. See this Milano team, boy, they play hard.
They do.
Come at you.
Swarm on the D.
Moskov trying to fight for the board. And just grabs his knee momentarily as he falls down. Knicks go up to help him up. And a held ball, so they'll jump it up. Mordente nailing the shot.
See the good ball movement right here by Milano now, finding the range from the perimeter.
Raymond Felton comes back in. Mason will sit. So it's Felton, Douglas, Billy Walker, Tim Moskov, and Chandler out there for the Knicks. There's some debris on the court. It's a nice arena.
Yeah, it is.
Jobber does a nice job off the jump ball. And gets an easy two and strips Felton. Oh, Jobber puts it in. Jobber played his college ball at Penn. He's also played in Greece and now Italy. Brooklyn, born in Brooklyn. And he's forced some turnovers. Comes off the bench right away, has an impact as the Knicks now trail by 3.
Jabba providing the impetus. 2 quick baskets and now the turnover has the crowd in the game as well.
He was an Ivy League first teamer for the Penn Quakers.
There he is open in the paint.
Petrov, high arcing shot. Offensive rebound from Roca.
Ball hit the rim, a new shot clock.
Moskov with the steal. Look at the 7-1 guy put the ball on the floor, drive down, and draw the foul.
So Jabo had been creating the havoc. This time he coughs it up. And look at the agility Mike alluded to. This guy has been, everything is advertised. Showing a good perimeter touch.
Stoudemire back in.
Previously along the baseline with a jumper, and he's been thriving from the free throw line as he's there now looking for 2 more.
Well, Clyde, you look at a guy like Mozgov, again, 7'1", 250, he's just 24. He has the skills and he has the athleticism. Now, whether he has the work ethic, whether he has the desire to be good, and you talk to the coaching staff and they say he's amazing at what he picks up, and that he really is. He's got a tremendous work ethic.
Very friendly guy. Comes up to you, shakes your hand.
His English is okay. He
Right.
just gets by, constantly learning. Gallinari's tried to help him out quite a bit. Stoudemire couldn't hold on. Ball knocked out of his hands. Let's check in with Tina.
Been working. Mike, Timofey Mozgov has been working every day after practice with Coach Herb Williams, specifically on his hook shot, his jump hook, because he says they don't really do that in Russia. Mike?
Well, he's got a lot to work on, but he's got this activity for a guy that size, and the athleticism is so impressive. Another turnover. Knicks not surprisingly count that basket and a foul. The turnovers have hurt them. First preseason game very sloppy with the ball. Chance for a 3-point play as Milano takes a 4-point lead. And we'll have a timeout.
Yeah. Knicks averaged 14 turnovers a game last season. Around 12 now, getting them in.
He is thrilled to be in New York. I guess you'd be thrilled when you get $100 million to go anywhere, but he really has enjoyed his time so far. He's been in Italy before. The Phoenix Suns were in Italy back in 2006. Stoudemire was talking about it earlier today. He said he had a breakfast meeting with Bill Russell. It was the first time he ever met the Hall of Famer Bill Russell, and it was after he had his knee problems. He said Russell really talked to him about bringing it every night. And to be a great player, you've got to be ready to be great every single night. He said he had great memories of that particular meeting with Bill Russell.
Stoudemire, definitely a man of profile and courage. You mentioned that season, Mike, where he missed all but 3 games because of having both knees operated on. Then come back to be a first-team All-NBA in 06-07.
And then a couple of years later had that detached retina and the eye surgery that was so serious that was, at some point could be career-threatening back then if everything didn't go well, but everything went perfectly.
Still wears the goggles for protection.
Yeah. What's amazing about him is his strength and then his size. He's just in incredible shape. As Chandler got a little sloppy again, except just turned the ball over quite a bit.
Job was stumbling.
Petrov, boy, he's not shy to shoot. And loose ball foul call against Stoudemire.
The Knicks not boxing out now. Everybody's standing looking, and they're being out hustled by Milano.
It's another area Knicks, again, with some of the additional size will help, but they've got to become a better rebounding team. They did lose their best rebounder with David Lee at Golden State, and some of the new guys will help there in that department.
Last season they averaged 40 rebounds, but the opposition averaged 45.
Nicolo Melli, you see him, number 13, just checking in. Petrovicius also back in. Still early here in the second. It's been your usual sloppy preseason game. The Knicks trying to battle there as Douglas called for a foul.
Milano very methodical on the offense. They play old school basketball. Look for the pick and rolls, the mid-range jumpers, and thus far having success. There's the pick right there, and there's the roll.
Java's got good quickness. Turiaf fronting. Good defense. Gallinari coming to help as well. And a turnover for Milano.
Kind of a lull in the action right now, right?
Yeah. For a sellout crowd, they were chanting earlier and cheering. Part of the sellout crowd. NBA Commissioner David Stern is here.
This is why this team is in the game. Their defense really harassing the Knicks now.
And another turnover.
Yeah, good anticipation. Jabber has been the catalyst this quarter.
I know it's only the first preseason game, but Mike D'Antoni a little frustrated by the turnovers. Knicks forced one down the other end, though.
Douglas so adept at that, coming from behind, and that time stripping the ball.
So a timeout called by Milano. A little over 7 minutes remaining.
Tina Servasio back with you in Milan at the Forum. It's Armani Jeans Milano against the New York Knicks in NBA preseason. And this week in Milan, right after the Knicks got off the plane on Thursday, Danilo Gallinari released his autobiography. Yes, at 22 years old. Da zero a otto. It means from 0 to 8. And of course, the number 8, his jersey number, a tribute to his birthday, 8/8/88. Now, this book is about his personal journey, stories that maybe people never knew. It is only in Italian, and it is co-authored by Flavio Tranquillo. He is a very famous play-by-play announcer here in Italy. They call him the Mike Breen of Italy, by the way. And Flavio told me a great story that is in the book of Danilo when he was 12 years old. In a championship game, his team won 56-51. Gallinari scored 49 points. Everybody made a big deal after the game, but Gallinari said, "But that's my job. That's what I have to do to help the team to win." Well said for a 12-year-old. Mike?
He has, you see the way he's coming. People knew about him when he was young because they saw his ability, and his father, of course, was a player, played with Mike D'Antoni. They were roommates, in fact. Although the thing about his father, they say, Clyde, is that his father couldn't shoot. And here his son is one of the purest shooters ever to come out of Italy as he knocks that down.
That's probably why Mike was his roommate.
Right.
He got more shots. But surprisingly, reading about that, Gallo said that he and his father rarely talk basketball. Let's talk about the other aspects of life, but not basketball.
Spots up, knocks down another three. Gallinari's third three-pointer. He has 12 points.
Remember last season he opened against Philadelphia with 8 threes, one shot at club record.
And again, good harassment from Tony Douglas. He deflected it last.
Douglas creating havoc now, as he always does.
Roger Mason will come back in. Felton back in. And another timeout call. Gallinari has shot the ball well. 4 of 7 overall. 3 of 5 from downtown. Mike D'Antoni, his first preseason game with his new-look Knicks. Right now, the team trailing. They've been a little sloppy with the basketball. You expect that in the early preseason, especially with a group that has not played with each other very often. Haven't even really practiced that much. As Mordante on the pull-up, well short. Felton and Mason in the backcourt. Stoudemire, Turieff, and Gallinari.
Good job. This guy's a ball hawk, but this time he's charged with the foul.
He is relentless. Good activity on defense from Jabber. Abraham Jabber. He's already got a couple of steals. Hawkins is going to come in for him. A couple of Americans.
Yeah, Jabber very catalytic. Remember, he entered the game. He came up with 4 quick points and forced a turnover. Really ignited the team as well as the crowd. And now Gallo looking to compensate from the line.
Gallinari, an excellent free throw shooter. Last year, 83%. The year before, when he played just limited games, shot about 95%. He just has such a fluid, perfect stroke.
Had a streak of 29 consecutive free throws at one time, most by Nick last season.
So this very well could be a Knicks starting lineup on opening night. Roger Mason is one of those in contention for a starting job because there are 2 spots that really are open. Stoudemire is obviously going to start at the power forward. Gallinari will start at the small forward, and Felton will be the point guard. But the 2 guard, Mason's a possibility. Wilson Chandler, Kalina Azubuike could be when he comes back from a knee injury. And then the center position. Turiaf right now seems to have the edge with the experience as the center. Mozgov, though, playing well. Anthony Randolph perhaps could play some center. Lots of different variations and possibilities, Clyde.
Yep, I like them all, Mike. And I think sometimes it's going to be dictated by who they're playing, as we saw last season, and how Knicks almost turned it over again. They have 14 turnovers. That's what they averaged last season.
You saw D'Antoni a little annoyed there. Careless passing. Felt a nice pass to Stoudemire. Yeah, that's that beautiful pick and roll. Felton now in charge of the Knick offense. He's had some nice dishes. He's got 5 assists.
See this methodical offense, moving the ball around, finding the open man.
Tough fall away shot won't go. Petrovicius nearly tipped it in. Roger Mason.
Mason's got to get that one down. That's why he's out there. Hawkins can't catch up with it. Whoa.
Hard foul.
Yeah, he'll shoot 2 if he can.
Good sportsmanship there.
When you fake guys, that's the pick and roll, kind of a delayed pick and roll, working to perfection.
Stoudemire is such a great finisher, so explosive at the rim. Julius, who's played on the Lithuanian national team, goes to the line. We'll see a lot of activity on that Knick bench throughout the preseason as D'Antoni tries the different combinations. A little over 5 minutes remaining here in the first half. Olimpia Milano playing very well, especially as Clyde mentioned defensively. Felton again, Stoudemire. Blocked, but a foul.
You see Felton and Stoudemire trying to develop that chemistry with the pick and roll. First time it worked to perfection. This time it also works. Stoudemire is able to draw the foul.
Stoudemire last year All-NBA second team. Of course, he played for Mike D'Antoni in Phoenix. Played all 82 games last year. After the All-Star break, he played as well as anybody in the league. Averaged almost 27 a game after the All-Star break.
He was invincible. That's why he ended up with such a big contract where he turned it on.
And then they made it all the way to the Western Conference Finals. He averaged 25 a game in the conference finals against the eventual champion Lakers. Had that one huge game, had 42 points in game 3 against the Lakers. And a foul. Knick players swatting at them. So 2 free throws coming up for Milano with 4:46 left here in the first half.
Fatigue is a factor now. You see the imprudent fouls, ill-advised passes. So guys are a little tired now. So when you get tired, you start playing defense with your hands and not your feet.
Maybe weighted down from all the good pasta, Clyde. I've had some great meals here.
Have you?
Oh, my goodness.
I've had trouble communicating with room service, Mike.
You got to get out. We had that one great meal. If I eat any more mozzarella cheese, I'm going to be in trouble. Oh, my goodness. It is so good. Felton will bring it up. Stoudemire again. Triple team, then another foul. It's just such a force. The quickness, combination of the quickness and the power. So he'll go right back to the free throw line. He's already been there 6 times. And Landry Fields, one of the new Knicks, checks in. A rookie from Stanford. 22-year-old who's been very impressive so far in preseason practice.
Fields is a scorer, folks. At 6'7", 6'8". Very elusive off the dribble, good range with the jumper. Show how he thrived in college. His freshman year averaged 2 points, and sophomore year 4, junior year 12, and 22 last season.
They love his versatility. He does a little bit of everything well. He's another one. He came to camp in better shape than everybody. Was out playing everybody because he was in such good shape. Some of the others catching up a little bit now, but he's been impressive. Melli misses. Gallinari the rebound. The players like Gallinari and Chandler and Stoudemire are all going to have to pick up their rebounding a little bit as Felton launches a three. Just 3 of 10 from three-point range.
This Milano team very unselfish. They look for that open man.
Ball tipped by Gallinari, taken by Stoudemire. Felton looking to push. Fields knocked away by Hawkins. You like how active hands defensively Milano is.
Yeah, that's what keeps them in the game, and the teamwork. Individually, there's not a lot of there, but as a team, they can be formidable. Reminds me of our teams in the 70s.
On the inbound to Stoudemire.
There's the D.
A little careless that time. He thought he got hit.
Yeah, but with these guys, you can't do that. You can't be in disarray because they're coming to the ball.
Right.
Got to be under control. Stoudemire goes for the steal. They make him pay.
Nice backdoor from Petrov. Little fake.
Petrov lethal from the perimeter.
He's got 6 points. Felton gets inside and a foul. Pretty aggressive move from Raymond Felton. He hasn't looked to shoot. In fact, I think that's only his second attempt from the field.
Well, when you think of Felton, this is what you think of: tenacity, hell-bent, steadfast along the baseline with the finish, and he goes to the line.
Felton just 26 at his best year as a pro last year and helping the Bobcats make their first playoff appearance. He was the starter for Larry Brown in Charlotte.
Career leader still for the Bobcats in dishing and three-pointers.
He's got a toughness to him. Trying to fight over a screen. As we hit the 3-minute mark in the second quarter, Knicks back up by 2.
Oh. Hawkins, their best player, but always under control, looking for the open man.
Nice move from Hawkins, and then a foul.
That's what Hawkins does. He's a good player, but very unselfish. Watch this manipulation by Hawkins as he goes inside.
Machilius on the drive.
There he is. And the foul, so a lot of hacking and whacking here in the second quarter.
Petrov will sit down. Gallinari is just, all he's done is meet and greet people everywhere he's gone. That continues here at the arena. Missed his first 2 shots, but has been on the mark since. So many family and friends here in attendance. He had to get, when they asked him how many tickets, he just said a lot, a lot, a lot.
But Gallo is from a little town from outside of Milan, right?
Right. They live, and of course, played here. Launches another one. That one no good. Felton tips it out. Nice play. And Turiev able to secure it. Felton again gets inside. Gallinari aims, fires. Stoudemire tips it, and Stoudemire's held. The thing you like about Stoudemire in rebounding is that he pursues rebounds with his athleticism.
Yep, and this time he will be rewarded for his persistence. So Stoudemire at the line. The Knicks doing a good job that time getting second opportunities, denying Milano the rebounds.
First half, Stoudemire is going to take 10 free throws. Last year he was 5th in the NBA in free throw attempts. Guarantee your seat to the biggest games this season. Half season and 11-game ticket plans are on sale now. Visit nyknicks.com for more information. As the regular season, not that far off, begins October 27th on the road, and the home opener October 30th against Portland. Wild shot won't go. Rebound. Roca kicks it out. Ball deflected by Felton.
Felton denied an uncontested shot that time. Crowd liking the action, though, giving it to their home team, but the Knicks have it along. Well, Milano has it along the side.
Landry Fields, Raymond Felton, Stoudemire, Gallinari, and Ronny Turiaf in the game for the Knicks now. Hawkins can't get it to go. Ball knocked out of bounds by Roca. Knicks already have used 11 players. Kaleni Azubuike not dressed because of the knee rehab, and Eddie Curry did not make the trip. Curry injured his hamstring the first couple of days of camp. He's going to be out 4 to 6 weeks as Stoudemire knocks it down. It's so sad to see another injury for Eddie Curry, not giving him any chance to even look to make an impact or be a part. It's been a rough few years, to say the least. Good defense from Stoudemire. Knocking it loose. He thought it was last touch by Hawkins, but it's Milano ball. Although Mark Oyot is going to check. Now they change the call.
So Amare, the good hands after previously making the jumper, now forcing the turnover. The Knicks defense now starting to create offense.
4-point Knick lead. Fields misses his first shot attempt.
Milano looking to push it up quickly. Yeah, a little razzle dazzle.
Sometimes they look out of control, but hang on. Hawkins, good hard drive. Turiaf got a piece of that one. And Stoudemire fouled as we're under a minute to go in the first half.
And some dramatic action now. The Knicks defense starting to step up. Hawkins had stuffing on his mind. Went to the hoop, but he was denied. And then the Knicks in transition. Stoudemire starting to assert himself. Watch this play. Hawkins denied by 2 Knicks. Stoudemire versatility as he goes to the line to shoot.
Knicks have had at least 4 blocks here in the first half. And Stoudemire continues to get to the free throw line.
Has excellent rotation, but misfiring now. So he takes his glasses off to shoot the free throws.
First 8 years with the Phoenix Suns. He'll be 28 years old next month, so right in the prime of his career. One of those players that made that jump from high school right to the NBA. Roca stolen by Fields.
Look up, look up.
Fields gets ahead of the pack and misses the layup.
He's got to keep his head up. He has Stoudemire open. That's why when you're dribbling, don't look at the ball. Look up the court. So a good steal by the neophyte, and he will go to the line.
That's one of the things Fields did very well at Stanford. Played 4 years. As Clyde mentioned, a good score last year, 8th in the nation. But he got to the free throw line over 8 times a game his senior year.
He has real quick feet, Mike.
Yeah.
Which makes him elusive.
They list him as 6'7", 210. This man lived his whole life in California, born in Long Beach. But as you mentioned, Clyde, a little bit of a late bloomer as well. He didn't score much his first couple of years, but just kept working. He's got a great work ethic. Stoudemire! First the steal, then the slam.
Huffman and stuffing. Stoudemire, good sleight of hand now.
That's what the Knicks fans can't wait to see at the Garden.
Crowd still aroused.
Knicks on a nice run here to finish up the second.
Yeah, the defense providing impetus.
Dante kicks it out.
They're reluctant to shoot now.
Hawkins able to hit. Knicks will hold it for the final shot. High scoring first half. Felton the drive. Nice feed to Turiaf.
Oh.
Misses the layup. Tries to get it back. And that will end the first 2 quarters here at the Forum in Milan. As the new-look Knicks open up their preseason. The usual preseason ups and downs, but some exciting moments from Amari Stoudemire and Danilo Gallinari, who got such a huge, huge ovation when he was introduced, and he's with Tina.
All right, Danilo, at the beginning when you gave your speech, you said this is not easy to talk. How emotional was it for you?
I was emotional. It's my town, my people, and they make me feel like that.
This is a totally different Knicks team than last year. I know it's just a preseason game, but what is the biggest difference with the team on the floor now?
We are putting on the court everything we got. We are playing together. We are thinking about each other. We are caring each other, so nobody's thinking about themselves.
Danilo, grazie. The New York Knicks in Milan playing Armani Jeans Milano. It is the return of Danilo Gallinari. When we come back, it is Cena fra Amici.
Back at the Forum in Milan as the Knicks getting ready for the second half against Armani Jean Milano. Danilo Gallinari, 14 points in that first half. It's been quite a couple of days for Gallinari, a hometown hero, native of Milan, returning. Gallinari got a huge ovation when he was announced to the sellout crowd. Giorgio Armani on hand to welcome him. Obviously the sponsor of the team they're playing. Missed his first couple of shots, but then hit 3 3-pointers in a row. Gallinari knocked down some free throws, had 14 points, and looked nice and fluid in his first preseason game of the season. Knicks as a team up by 6. And you heard Mike D'Antoni tell Tina, not happy with the sloppiness. 15 turnovers, obviously way too much, but it is the first preseason game.
Yep, and Milano, too many fouls, hacking and whacking, sending the Knicks to the line where they were 22 of 28. So the Knicks must minimize their turnovers and Milano their fouls.
Mention those free throws, Clyde. 29 attempts, or 28 attempts in the first half, 12 of them by Amari Stoudemire. As we're set to start in the second half, Mike D'Antoni sends out Roni Turieff at center with Stoudemire, Gallinari, Chandler, and Raymond Felton.
It's difficult for the Knicks to get a transition in this game. Milano likes to play the half-court game, and they've done an excellent job with their defense and making it a half-court game.
Knicks with only 2 fast break points. They hope this year with Raymond Felton at the point to push more, get more of that 7 seconds or less style that works so well for D'Antoni and Phoenix. So now they're all set at the scorer's table. Knicks as a team shot 46% from the field, just 4 of 15 from downtown, but shot well from the free throw line. All part of the learning curve for this new team. It's probably a good thing, Clyde. First preseason game against a Euroleague team like Milano.
Yep.
Hawkins again, nice crossover move and finish. He's got strength and he got that deceptive crossover.
That's how we started the game. Hawkins driving adroitly along the baseline.
So he has 9 points. Felton and Stoudemire. Stoudemire has developed a terrific jump shot facing the basket. Does that a lot more, not necessarily a lot of low post moves with his back to the basket. That's still part of the game that's evolving for him. Jobber lines up way off.
See Jabba aiming his shot.
And a loose ball foul called against Milano. Julius. PA announcer says that's a foul. Opening minute here in the third. Stoudemire on the drive. Nice feed to Turieff. Stoudemire's had a couple of nice passes.
Yeah, he's showing good sleight of hand, making steals. And that time, Turieff, the beneficiary of a sweet dish from Amari.
Yeah, the Knicks back up by 6.
And the beat goes on for Milano. Perpetual motion, moving the ball, moving themselves.
Hawkins Nice move, couldn't finish. Chandler the rebound. Chandler's going to have to guard some twos if he plays the starting two guard. And nice soft touch from Amari Stoudemire.
See, the Knicks now starting to up the tempo. Milano one and done. The Knicks able to get in transition.
Stoudemire at 22 points, the game's leading scorer. Julius kicks it out, and Hawkins, that won't go. Felton, dangerous pass, but gets it ahead to Chandler.
See, that's the tempo we alluded to. Now the Knicks starting to run and gun.
Felton with 7 assists now in the game. You heard Mike D'Antoni. I mean, again, he understands first preseason game, many new teammates going to be sloppy, but he was not happy at all with the performance in the first half. But Julius nails the three.
Yeah, I like the continuity there around the perimeter. Amari again in a hurry, baseline.
On the drive and knocks it down.
Looks like he put his elbow out, no foul call.
Much to the dismay of the Milano coach, Piero Bucchi put his hands up saying, what's going on?
And this pace has quickened.
You know, we talked about this since Mike D'Antoni has come to New York, Clyde. You know, players think they would love the up-tempo fast break running as Julius knocks down another. But it's not an easy tempo to play. You've got to be in incredible shape.
Yeah. Takes a lot out of you. And especially if you are expected to play some semblance of defense.
Gallinari too strong on the three.
Milano is hot from the perimeter now. That extra pass is getting them uncontested shots.
Now Gallinari, 8 of his 10 field goal attempts have been from downtown. They've been good open looks, but one of the keys for him, and he's talked about it, he wants to mix it up more, wants to be able to drive a little bit more as opposed to relying too much on the three. Especially now with the back fully healed and looks so much more fluid on the floor.
Mike, it was interesting you was talking to their broadcaster about the importance of this game to the team, and he said not really, because they played so many NBA games now. It's no longer a big thing for the team.
Well, it just shows you the worldwide effect of the game and the NBA, that it used to be, oh my goodness, an NBA team is coming. And although it's still a big event, obviously a sellout crowd, you know, the NBA has made so many trips here. So for Flavio is his name, he's telling us that this is just an important game for them to get ready for their season.
And you can see they're not in awe of the Knicks.
No, you remember when back in the Dream Team in '92 in Barcelona, when the players from Angola, as that shot won't go, they were lining up during free throws next to one of the USA players and asking a teammate on the bench, take my picture, take my picture. It has certainly changed as Chandler knocks it down. And just the influx of so many international players now on NBA rosters. I mean, just look at the Knicks with Gallinari and Mozgov and Turioff.
The Knicks are one of the last teams to acquire international players. Now might have one of the best in this man.
Clyde, would you say, as we see Raymond Felton make his move, gets inside, nice move, can't finish. Is Felton the key player?
Yeah, it starts with the point guard, Mike. He's the orchestrator, has to get everyone involved.
Hawkins trying to jam it in there. Good defense from the Knicks going straight up.
Second time Hawkins has been denied going, previously wanted to dunk it.
There's the drive, and he draws the foul.
And that's what Gallo should do more at 6'10". Tremendous mismatch most of the time against the opposition. And Mike, you were talking about how he settles sometimes too frequently for the three-pointer rather than trying to get to the hoop as he does this time.
Well, the great thing is he does an excellent job driving, and then when he gets to the line, he's an excellent free throw shooter.
And he can create. I mentioned he only averages 1 assist. Obviously, much has to improve there. Should average at least 4 a game, as much as he handles the ball.
So a much better start to the third quarter. Gallinari perfect from the line so far tonight. On Wednesday afternoon on MSG, catch preseason action live from Paris. Amari Stoudemire and the Knicks taking on the Minnesota Timberwolves. Live coverage getting underway at 2 p.m. Wednesday on MSG. Ronny Turiaf, who's guarding right there. Going back to his, I mentioned Paris, where he played his high school ball with Tony Parker and Boris Diaw.
Oh, stripped by Java. Oh, see, not a good foul. At 6'10", we was talking about Gallinari should try to intimidate the smaller Java that time rather than creating the foul.
So you can ask Turiaf for some recommendations where to go, Clyde?
Yeah, we should.
French cuisine. All I think about is food. Food here in Italy's been great. I can't wait to try the food in Paris.
I'm not saying anything yet. It's not showing on you.
I'm wearing baggy clothes.
Once it starts to stick, I'll say something.
Have you ever been to Paris?
No, I haven't. So I'm looking forward to
Yep.
it. Only in books and movies.
Right. Well, Turiaf certainly has, as Jobber shooting another free throw. Well, Monty Jeans Milano have done an excellent job hanging in there, only down by 6 with 6.5 remaining here in the third. Chandler. Ball like that out of bounds. They have just one player with NBA experience. That's Petrov. Hawkins had some training camps with the Houston Rockets. But a lot of guys, for example, a guy like Petrov, he can make an NBA team. Nice block as Stoudemire and Chandler throw it out of bounds. But wouldn't play a lot. And now some of the European players, they'd rather stay and be a starter and big minutes player here in Europe as opposed to being a bench warmer in the NBA. And some of the salaries are pretty good here in Europe.
Is that what happened with Rodriguez?
Sergio Rodriguez?
Yeah. All right.
Played for the Knicks.
Oh, look at Felton get over the screen with gusto.
Felton goes right at the basket. Shot won't go.
And they're letting them play old-time NBA ball now. A lot of contact, no fouls called.
Petrov stripped by Stoudemire. It has been your typical sloppy first preseason game. Well, Felton gets inside and the layup.
Lack of communication that time by Milano.
So the Knicks starters, a good start here to the third quarter.
Felton creating havoc with his steals.
So the getting acquainted process continues.
It was so hands-on this week. I mean, that's just a thrill for these kids in any language. Mike Clyde, dietro di te. Back to you.
As we said, Tina's trying to show off her Italian knowledge. Now, she was impressed if she would be able to translate what Gallinari said to the crowd. You got a few words, don't you? Stoudemire's call for a travel.
Nope.
Not even buongiorno?
Buongiorno. Ciao.
I have an Italian word, turnover. As the Knicks turned it over there. Felton putting on some pressure. So when you got a point guard that can put that kind of pressure, now he brings the ball off half court, and it was almost an 8-second violation. Now the teams in their offense, they still aren't really into it, and 7 on the shot clock. It shows you what a player like Felton can do. Jobber misses. Ball looked like it was out of bounds, and it was. Mike D'Antoni running down arguing the call. He's in mid-season form.
Well, Mike, I do have tiramisu. I go to this restaurant all the time in New York. Tiramisu.
There you go.
Italian restaurant, right.
So you have
Don't even know.
Mozgov didn't handle a pass.
Fusilli? Is that a
Fusilli.
fusilli
Type
and
of pasta?
yeah, and chicken. That's what I always eat. In there.
See, you're like me now. The only thing you worry about is food.
Especially here, there's not a lot of it around.
Mordante.
They can get inside, but they can't finish, so that should open up the perimeter.
And Petrov, he can knock down the threes. That's his second three-pointer.
So the Knicks allowing the Milano to break them down and get the uncontested perimeter shots.
Stoudemire, he throws in a three.
Still a big roar whenever Stoudemire scores from the crowd.
Stoudemire for his career is only a 19% three-point shooter, but he's improved on his perimeter game last several years.
And without Nash, Mike, it's going to be imperative that he does.
Easy bucket inside.
You can look for teams to drop off of Stoudemire and see if he can make that mid-range jumper.
Well, that's so much, too, with Stoudemire. He played with one of the premier point guards in the game, a two-time MVP in Steve Nash. And Raymond Felton was asked about that. Felton said, hey, listen, I'm not Steve Nash, but I'm looking forward to working with him. Felton's very confident. Mozgov, who was impressive in the first half, lost it a couple of times here.
Look at the unselfish passing here. Overpassing that time.
And Petrov lost it.
Yep. Too much razzle-dazzle.
Tony Douglas checks in, and Gallinari will sit. And there's a backcourt on the floor right now for the Knicks you might see quite often, especially early. And Tony likes Felton and Douglas together because of their quickness and their defensive intensity.
I like to see them pick up, though, Mike. They're like three-quarters court rather than dropping back to the half court. And for the reason you mentioned previously, that it takes a lot of time off the shot clock from the opposition.
Stoudemire counting and a foul. And he'll go back to the free throw line where he's already taken 12 free throws.
Stoudemire is starting to run amok now. It's too elusive for Milano. They can't double him, and he has prospered from the line.
He's got 26 points now. He's made all NBA teams 4 different times. First team once, second team 3 times. He's a 5-time All-Star.
Former Rookie of the Year coming into the league out of high school.
Here's Douglas putting some pressure on Jobber.
See the pick and roll. Douglas does a good job getting over, strips it away.
And does it again, knocks it away from behind.
See Jobber, what he's doing wrong, when he comes over to pick, he has the ball behind him, has to get the ball in front of him. Douglas doing a good job of vexing him.
And a timeout called by Milano. 2:59 remaining in the third. Knicks much sharper. Welcome back to Milan from the Milan native. As you're watching Knicks basketball on MSG. You know, obviously, he's born and raised in Italy, but Mike D'Antoni, who spent 17 years, and that's a long time, we watched him the other day after practice. A lot of the Italian journalists. Nice move from Ancinelli. And out of bounds. He did several interviews. You know, the questions were asked in Italian and answered. He speaks fluent Italian. I just found that so impressive. I mean, one after another, and just, you know, did his usual answers and all in Italian.
Yeah, because you see another side of him,
Right.
Mike, that you didn't really know.
Chandler, nice move to the basket. As you mentioned earlier, he met his wife, Laurel. She was working as a model here in Italy and met her. And his son was born in Italy. Said he basically grew up here, became a man. As Petrov, nice feed inside. Knicks miscommunication defensively there. Stoudemire again to the basket.
Using and abusing them now. Mari, the finger roll.
Lead up to 9 as we hit the 2-minute mark remaining here in the third. You know, Stoudemire, while he was in Phoenix, Nash was really the leader of that team. And there's a three-pointer from Ancinelli. But Stoudemire has wanted to be the guy on the team. And he now has his chance here in New York.
Now the zone by Milano, first time tonight, and is very porous.
Nice pass from Stoudemire. And again, how about that athleticism from Mozgov? That's one of the difference in rules for this game. You can play no limitations defensively. You can play a flat-out zone. Petrov can't finish. And there's Jobber again with the steal. Gets to the Petrov. Well, there's a lot of contact they're letting go.
And the Knicks swarming to the basket. Excellent job tonight, intimidating. So they deny a basket here, but Milano retains it underneath.
2 NBA refs and 1 Euroleague ref. Billy Spooner and Mark Ayotte, the officials. Petrov. Boy, he can shoot.
Yeah, he's feasting now.
6'10", big man from the Ukraine. Much more comfortable on the perimeter. And he's got a nice touch. Chandler again to the basket.
Moving and grooving by Chandler now. He's elusive off the dribble.
Roger Mason Jr. and Anthony Randolph back in for the Knicks, whose lead is only 7 as we wind down the third. Mancinelli.
Pace has been relentless.
Chandler. Tough shot. Looked like the ball got hit or the hand got hit on the way up. And Chandler's found the range last several minutes. Made some nice moves. Big year for Chandler as well. Chandler's name has been mentioned in any kind of trade talk with the Carmelo Anthony situation still unresolved. His name's one of the first you hear. Petrov misses. Hawkins trying to tip it. Randolph, good rebound in traffic.
Knicks looking to blow it open now.
Mason fires away. Banks in the three-pointer with under a second to go.
Yep, Milano needs to talk it over now. The Knicks with the knack.
Oh, he put it in, but it won't count. Came after the buzzer.
Of course it was after the buzzer.
Big smile for Mike D'Antoni. They don't have instant replay here. The crowd saying it should count as the third quarter ends with the Knicks getting their largest lead of the game.
It didn't count because I thought actually they called a timeout, and I saw the zeros on the scoreboard on the clock. So I don't think it was good.
Well, Mason's three-pointer counted, and the Knicks lead by 12 as we head to the fourth quarter. Having a big night in his first Knick game, albeit a preseason one. But to start here in the fourth, it's going to be Roger Mason, Anthony Douglas in the backcourt, Billy Walker, Anthony Randolph, and Timofey Mozgov. His teammates call him Timmy, as Billy Walker nails it. Walker, an interesting guy, Clyde. Last year, tail end of the season, coming over from Boston, had some really nice games.
Yep, and then the weight loss. They wanted him to lose weight, and he did, over 20 pounds, making him much lighter and agile.
Foul on Roger Mason. Again, what's going to be one of the difficulties for Mike D'Antoni is paring down the rotation. Now, he likes to play 8 guys, but he knows that's not going to be the case with this team. It's going to be 9 or 10. So there might be a couple of guys who will think they deserve to get minutes. Nice pass inside.
That's the intimidation. Well, Milano's not going up right away because the Knicks are swarming, so this time they are able to draw the foul.
But it's a good problem to have, again, because this team appears to have some very good depth. He's gone to the bench quite a bit. The only players who have not played are Andy Routens, the other second-round pick, Patrick Ewing Jr., who signed as a free agent, and Sean Williams, another just recent free agent signing. But it's going to be interesting to see for the first time, Clyde, the Knicks have a team of players put together to be a team as opposed to players put together to get expiring contracts.
Yep.
Mozgov, nice soft touch.
Impressive night for Mozgov.
Mordante.
Oh, looked like he carried, but he drew the foul.
And that's where Mozgov might run into trouble. in foul difficulties. He got in foul problems playing in the World Championships, as he's still trying to learn the NBA game, especially defensively.
That's why you got to learn defense with your feet, not your hands, to eliminate those type of fouls.
He has terrific feet movement.
See, Milano's going nowhere now, east and west, no longer going to the basket, but right there, pass inside.
Randolph deflected it. The rotation didn't get there in time. Randolph, nice move, and there's the athleticism. The young Anthony Randolph, 6'11", guy could put it on the floor and drive across the lane like that.
He's been very offensive minded from the get-go, looking to get on the board.
Randolph with 4 points. Nelly, and over the backboard, out of bounds. You're just tuning in. Knicks have had some terrific play from Amari Stoudemire. 32 points for Stoudemire.
He's been omnipotent, folks. Just too elusive for these guys and too omnipotent in the paint, and really prospered from the free throw line.
Well, the front court really overmatched. Gallinari, meanwhile, also 16 points. Had 7 rebounds. Again, the Knicks will play 2 games in Europe. Wednesday afternoon, play against the Minnesota Timberwolves in Paris. We'll have that game for you on MSG as well. Petrov. And Tony Douglas rips down the rebound. Here's the break the Knicks like to see, and here's the break that Randolph can excel at. Boy, talk about a quick bucket there.
His last 2 have been swoops to the hoop for Randolph.
Knicks now up by 18.
And this is something else, folks, with the Knicks' second unit. They're not missing a lot. They can still keep the intensity on the scoring and might be a better defensive team than the first unit. Here, Randolph swoops and hoops.
Randolph, again, as we mentioned, only 1 year of college, basically 1 year in the NBA. He only played the 33 games last year with the injury, so he's still learning to play. Mozgov, the rebound.
Knicks releasing 3 Knicks are back.
Nice unselfish play. Douglas, little showtime. And a timeout call by Milano as the Knicks go up by 20. And Anthony Randolph showing some signs of what he's capable of doing.
3 consecutive hoops by Randolph, and that time a crowd-pleasing stuff.
So after the usual ups and downs in the first half, Knicks much more exciting here in the second half. They lead. After a 9-year absence, Mike D'Antoni back in Milan coaching his team. Of course, he made his name here as a player. 13 years played professional basketball in Italy and won multiple championships, considered one of the greatest players in Italian league history. A lot of big shots, nicknamed the Mustache. He had a great career and then coached for 4 other years, won championships as a coach, and he is an absolute legend in Italy, and especially here in Milan. Jobber knocks down the shot. And as you could tell by, the crowd there, the crowds are so emotional in Europe. Alley-oop. Oh! Now, did Walker touch it, or did that go in? I think Walker got a piece of it. Hopefully we can see a replay on that. We're at the mercy of a world feed here. And Jobber was out of bounds when he caught it.
Wrestling defense by Douglas, forcing that turnover.
Tony Douglas, you can see he's come back. He just has a confidence after having a year under his belt in the NBA, and he finished with some nice games down the tail end of the season. Randolph picked up his pivot foot and traveled.
The Jobber overplaying the passing lanes, though. He turned it over previously, redeems himself this time. That's why you don't want to give up your dribble until you find someone to pass to.
All right, let's see. Did Walker touch it? Yep.
Walker funnels it in.
Now, the ball was above the cylinder, but they're playing the FIBA rule, so that's legal in this game. If that was an NBA game, that could easily be waved off. Petrov gets it, blocked by Mozgov, but a foul.
That's what you were mentioning, Mike, about Moscow. Foul prone. That's been intimidating in the paint, but foul's starting to mount now.
That looked like a decent block. He's trying to explain to the referee, went straight up. But those kind of blocks you don't mind, those kind of fouls you don't mind, as opposed to the reaching ones you were talking about, Clyde.
Right, along the baseline. This guy has distinguished himself tonight.
So Petrov able to knock it in.
Yeah, he's been lethal from the perimeter.
Another player from the Ukraine. Again, you just the evolution of basketball around the world.
Yep, it used to be done by the Globetrotters, Mike. No longer.
Ball kicked. Shot clock at 14. It'll stay there. 8 minutes left. As we said, the Knicks after tonight, they'll fly to Paris and play Wednesday night against Minnesota.
I think Paris might be even a more basketball-oriented crowd because of all the players they have there in the pros.
Yep. Well, they're both soccer first. There's no question about it. Randolph, again, another nice move to the basket.
But today, watching TV, Mike, I saw sailing, auto racing, golf, equestrian.
Yep.
I mean, here you get the whole spectrum of sports, folks. They cover everything. Soccer.
Well, apparently, there was a huge soccer match today. There's Randolph going to the basket. We've seen now the strengths of Randolph. You see a guy 6'11", what he's able to do. It shows you why everybody's so high on him.
Yep, and he's doing it coming in with the second unit, which is an advantage for him.
And just 21. Jobber has showed he's a good player. Nice, active, hard-working player.
Yeah, nothing flashy, very solid there. Again, on the defense, he and Douglas going at it.
Billy Walker, high arcing three-pointer for Walker.
That's what he was so efficient with last season, the three ball.
And Walker for the Knicks shot extremely well from downtown. He had a bunch of 20-point games in his 27 games with the Knicks.
Knick defense solid now. Yeah, forcing the turnover, releasing is Randolph.
Again, Randolph, this time he lost it.
Who was there? Jabba. This guy is ubiquitous on the D. He's got the long arms and he uses them to create havoc.
Reminder, Saturday, October 9th. Don't miss the Rangers season opener. It's here. Rangers will face the Buffalo Sabres. Pre-game coverage gets underway at 6:30. Puck drops at 7 Saturday night on MSG. New York plays here. Rangers hockey ready to get underway. And several weeks later, the Knicks regular season. Rocca will go to the free throw line. Mason Rocca, who played at Princeton. He also played on that, I think it's an IBL team, the Trenton Shooting Stars. And now has found himself a nice career in Italy. He's actually on the Italian national team. Descended from Italy.
He's had his troubles from the line. Like he's aiming his shot, showing lack of confidence.
A sellout crowd, as we mentioned at the top here at the Forum. It's just a little under 12,000. When they announced the game, sold out on the internet in under 2 hours, and there were so many more requests to see Gallinari and Mike D'Antoni return. Nice steal from Hawkins.
He's in a hurry.
Well, there'll be two things that Mike D'Antoni will talk about as Giorgio Armani enjoying the action. Two things that I think will be foremost on his mind and things to work on. Number one, the sloppiness. A lot of turnovers, but that happens quite a bit in preseason.
Oh, there he is.
And there's,
This
again,
guy's always in the passing lane.
Jobber puts it in.
Look at his arms. If you get a look at his arms, are like down to his knees.
Yeah.
Extremely long arms for a short guy.
And good anticipation. Douglas jump shot won't go, and a foul on Mozgov.
So Milano showing a little fight now. They're stealing the ball. First it was Hawkins. He's stuffing. And then Jabba.
So Gallinari's going to come back in, but before that we have a timeout. Just past the midway point, fourth quarter from Milan as the Knicks wind down their opening preseason game of the 2010.
9:92. Now, during the 2010 NBA postseason and finals, Sky TV and their announcer Flavio Tranquillo did play-by-play of the games for Italy off the international feed. Well, for a couple of games, Danilo Gallinari joined Flavio for a few of the broadcasts as his color analyst. So just 2 years into his NBA career, he's already an analyst. Clyde, you better watch out. Gallo already wants your job. Mike, Clyde, back to you guys.
Anything to say?
No, not right now.
These kids today, he's already written a book. He's already doing broadcasting. How old were you when you wrote your first book? You wrote a couple.
Yeah, I think 25. My
Right.
first one, autobiography.
Who helped?
When is your book coming, Mike? Flavio is mentioned as the Mike Green of basketball.
Poor
in
Flavio.
Italy. So your reputation precedes you.
My book would resemble a Dr. Seuss book.
A little pressure now.
I know what I'm going to write. My Life with Clyde.
Yeah.
The inside story. Gallinari back in. Probably wouldn't play it if this was a normal preseason game, come back in, but obviously the fans here to see him, so Mike D'Antoni putting him in. Gallinari 3 of 9 from downtown. 16 points total. As Tony Douglas called for a foul. Douglas so aggressive defensively. Gallinari a little cold now. Well, the fans saw him knock down some three-pointers early. Gave him a huge ovation. Gave a little speech before the game, thanking everybody. And he told Tina how emotional it was for him. It's been a long couple of days for him, as we said. He's gone to appearance after appearance, obviously seeing family and friends, trying to also show his teammates a little bit of Milan.
Seems to be undaunted, though, Mike. Seems to relish in it.
Use one of your words, unflappable.
Yeah.
Nick lead cut now to 14. Largest lead was 22. Randolph forced that shot. Not a good shot that time.
It was the third quarter when the Knicks were able to up the tempo, get Milano out of the half-court game, and they started to thrive in transition.
Oh, and Nicolo Melli on the drive and the foul. Mike D'Antoni yelling at Anthony Randolph. Really at.
He's livid. Look at him. He's livid. And he has a 14-point lead.
And Randolph said, "That's me." And he's upset about the lack of cover defensively that time.
And the fourth shot.
Yeah, that's right, especially after a fourth shot. See, what he doesn't want to do is have to put his starters back in. You don't want to lose the game. Not that it matters in the overall scheme of things, but you want to come and win. 22-point lead's been cut in half. Landry Fields lost it in another turn. Knicks with 26 turnovers.
Too much dribbling by the Knicks, and the coach is yelling at Landry, shoot the ball, you're open.
So he's a little hot with the sloppiness or the lackadaisical. Walker went for the steal, and Mancinelli kicks it back out. That leaves a wide open three, and knocking it down once again is Ibrahim Jabber. And it's an 8-point game.
And one more basket, they'll have the crowd against them. So the Knicks have to stay efficient here.
Randolph fouled by Roca. Again, Randolph at his size. The guys that are going to be guarding him. As we'll see this three-pointer set up nicely.
This kid has been terrific tonight, Java, especially on the deep.
14 points for Java. But with Randolph, these big guys guarding him, he can take them off the dribble. Gallinari knocks down a three.
And that was a timely hoop there, giving the Knicks the momentum.
So Danilo Gallinari with 19 points. As we hit the 4-minute mark, Knicks get a little breathing room. And a double dribble. He's claiming it got deflected. It looked like it did.
But you saw Douglas, who started him on the stumbling and bumbling. And this is Gallo on the elbow from downtown.
10 of his 12 shots have been three-pointers.
He feels dribble with his head down, has to keep his head up.
Douglas.
And that's why.
Nice pass, and Randolph again with the finish.
When you're dribbling, you keep your head up. You can see the action, and that time Douglas saw Randolph, as he's been quite a tandem tonight with Randolph. Has given him a couple of dunks tonight.
Boy, Roca just set a nasty screen on Douglas. I don't know if Douglas was upset at Roca or for his teammates for not warning him that the screen was coming.
Well, your teammate, Mike, they're supposed to be yelling out the screens. Watch Tony penetrates and creates. And Randolph is the beneficiary of a splendid alley-oop pass.
It was Douglas was upset that Randolph didn't warn him about the screen. Mike D'Antoni let him hear it too.
Yeah, you can get hurt that way.
And Chinelli with the free throws. Mike D'Antoni knows this year needs to be different. Especially this year, he's got a team to work with. He's got a star player. Knicks talk about, he doesn't want to give specific goals, but they want nothing shy of a playoff berth. And they'll compete for a final playoff spot, Clyde. You expect that, although a number of other teams improve themselves as well. Gallinari, back-to-back threes here in the fourth quarter.
Previously the right side, this time the left side for Gallo.
22 for Gallinari, and the lead back up to 14 as we're under 3 minutes to go. And Douglas with a reach in and a foul. Knicks sloppy defensively. Again, you're gonna on both ends. You're gonna have that first preseason game. And a timeout called. 2:54 remaining. The learning continues for new Nick Anthony Randolph.
Back in Milan, Italy, just a few miles outside of the big city, there's a tiny farming town called Graffignana. That is where Danilo Gallinari was raised, and there is his parents' house where he has his trophy room, displaying his success in the game of basketball through the years, various trophies and cups from Olimpia Milano, Italian league teams, and now represented the New York Knicks. But look at that, it is a Gallo. There is the rooster, of course, his nickname in the game of basketball. Mike?
Again, had a fabulous career here.
And he wears the number 8 commemorating his birthday, folks, which is 8/8/88.
I know we talk about the other young guys. Gallinari's just 22 years old.
Average age of the Knicks team is 23 this year.
Landry Fields does a good job drawing the foul. Nice pass from Walker. The Knicks will be one of the youngest teams in the league. He's got 888 on his shoes, special ones that he wore for the game. August 8th. Just had his birthday recently.
I don't think he's the youngest person that I know, Mike. 88. I don't know anyone from there anymore.
You've got to, you have to know somebody that's younger than 22, I hope. You need to get younger friends, Clyde.
Well, I know.
Another three-pointer. That one won't go.
Oh,
and again, Randolph can take it off the rim.
All right. You know why that rule is not in the NBA? Wilt Chamberlain, folks.
There's been some discussion that they should put the FIBA rule like that in the NBA.
Not with their jumping ability, Mike. That's why they took it out with Chamberlain. He would go up and just knock balls away. I mean, you shoot from the corner, you jump up and grab the ball out of the air. So, so a lot of the rules changes were because of the prowess of Wilt Chamberlain.
Well, this rule, you can't touch the ball until it hits the rim. So you can't get it on the initial shot attempt. It has to hit the rim first, then you can knock it right off.
The lane was changed by George Mikan as Java continues to astound.
By the way, Gallinari, since he came back in, 8 points. Randolph up and under. Again, just fun to watch Randolph take it off the dribble and go to the basket.
Most of his hoops have been off the dribble. I think guys forget he's a southpaw, utilizing the left hand. So he's been able to get to the basket.
So the Knicks will get this win, and some fun, impressive things from some of the new players and some of the old. Some typical sloppy things from the first preseason game. It'll be back to work at practice tomorrow.
Yep, which they can live with, the turnovers for the first game, but obviously let's improve on that on the second game. That man extraordinary tonight.
32 points, 6 rebounds for Stoudemire. Also had 3 assists, a couple of steals.
Feasted from the free throw line to Stoudemire.
13 times went to the line. Had 32 points in 28 minutes. And a foul call against Billy Walker. So as we mentioned, the Knicks will fly to Paris tonight. The next game will be Wednesday afternoon. We'll have it for you on MSG. Preseason action live from Paris. Knicks will take on the Minnesota Timberwolves. Our coverage gets underway at 2 p.m. Eastern. Both here in Milan and in Paris, 6 hours ahead of New York time.
And I've been feeling it, folks.
So right now it's a little after 9 p.m. in Milan. Got a little jet lag?
Yeah, man. I took a whole day. It took me an entire day to get back. But I'm ready now for Paris, Mike.
It's harder to go from west to east, I always feel. Double lane violation, so a jump ball.
Saw the Nick Benj Ewing not seeing action tonight.
Solo jumping at center court, as you say. Giorgio Armani still here, Clyde?
Yeah,
get a couple of free suits from him.
Right. Giorgio sitting there front row.
That's one of the worst jump balls I've ever seen. And they're starting to do the wave here at the Forum.
See if it catches on. Yeah, starting to gain momentum.
Walker's shot won't go. Roca had it knocked away. I think Gallinari got a piece of it. Tony Douglas will try the 3.
Yeah, the wave is picking up momentum, Mike. Here it comes.
European crowds for basketball games full of emotion. Like whether you go to a world championship game in Europe or there's a lot of fun. Normally they sing and chant during much of the game. Douglas to Randolph. Randolph fouled with a little over 43 seconds remaining.
See, Randolph, like Stoudemire, too elusive for the Milano team. Albeit he's 6'10", but his ability to create off the dribble now causing problems for them as he goes to the line.
Julius sits. Stoudemire's had a nice long rest after his 32-point outing. He had 32 points after 3 quarters. One thing Randolph says he's got to do, obviously, he's working on his free throws as well. Although for his career is 76%, that's actually a pretty good number. It's a very good number for a big guy. So as we wind down the first preseason game, certainly a success for the people here in Milan, the sellout crowd, a lot of talk about basketball. And a wonderful couple of days for both Mike D'Antoni and for Danilo Gallinari.
Yep, now an auspicious homecoming for those two heroes. Gallo played well, and the Knicks will prevail.
Gallinari, nice job. Gallinari coming off the bench in the fourth quarter when Milano made a run. Came in, hit a back-to-back three-pointers. Another nice drive.
Those were momentous hoops, Mike, because Milano had some momentum and were closing the gap. So timely threes by Gallo. Oh, look at this guy, man.
Sloppy pass. But both teams. Milano still fighting here in the final seconds. And an 8-second violation. Another turnover. I think that's 28 turnovers.
Yeah, which you will rarely see in a game, an 8-second violation.
Especially a 14-point game with 16 seconds left.
D'Antoni is still coaching.
Billy Spooner just kind of listening, now smiling. And the crowd appreciative of the effort. Inside pass, Roca, and that will do it. Count the basket. And the players shaking hands. Danilo Gallinari comes back, has a 22-point game, sees his family and friends, and continues being an ambassador for the sport of basketball here in Milan.
Standing ovation from the crowd. They really enjoyed the game, really appreciated it. So it's been a good time all around for everyone tonight.
And the new look Knicks with 11 new players on the roster get their feet wet together. Had some good moments, had some rough moments as well, as usual in the first preseason game.
And what about those city dances, Mike? They entertained the crowd tonight.
They came along for the trip.
Yeah, put on a good show.
So the sellout crowd enjoyed themselves. Mari Stoudemire certainly did. 32 points in his first game as a Knick. And some goodwill as Gallinari throwing out some T-shirts. He signed countless autographs, took countless pictures. Much like you two, there was two gentlemen we saw before the game today that they were like almost shaking when they saw you. They couldn't believe they met the great Walt Frazier. But it was a big day for Gallinari, and he's with Tina.
All right, Mike, thank you. Danilo, this was a victorious homecoming for you and Coach D'Antoni. What was this week like for you?
It was a crazy week. A lot of things going on during the day. No nap during the day. I always take a nap. No nap during the day. But it was great. It was great to stay with my family, see my friends, and just hang out with these people.
And of course, this is only because of the great game of basketball. I'm going to ask Amari those questions. But for you, what do you want your teammates to take from this trip to Milan?
They have to take the restaurant that I showed them, the people that I showed them, places that I showed them, and I hope they had a great time in Italy. Hopefully they will come back for vacations.
Danilo, grazie. And as Danilo goes over to Italian TV, we bring in the newest member of the Knicks, Amari Stoudemire, 32 points in your first game with the Knicks. How do you think the team is playing coming out of camp?
We played well. You know, it's our first time playing against other team besides ourselves, so did a great job tonight.
What adjustments did you guys make at the half?
Well, we played better defensively. You know, we really got after the ball. We did a great job on help side defense. Was able to apply a little pressure on full court press, so did a good job out there.
You know this offense as good as anyone because of playing with Coach D'Antoni in Phoenix. Where are you guys now as far as playing the system?
Oh, it's still getting better. You know, we got room to improve. We still get guys acclimated. We start off a little bit fast out there because the game is so fast once you play a real game. So we're getting guys acclimated. Got to slow down just a tad bit, but we'll get it.
And before you guys took off for Milan, you talked so much about how this was going to be a bonding experience in Europe. What have you seen from the guys? How have you all bonded?
So far, so good. We had dinner every night together. We hung out, watched football games last night. You know, so it's been great so far.
Amari, thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
All right, Amari Stoudemire, and earlier Danilo Gallinari, really the story of the new look New York Knicks. Mike, Clyde?
All right, Tina. Stoudemire 32 points. Gallinari 24 points, including 5 3-pointers, and the Knicks win it 125 to 113. We'll have more from Milan on our post.